Okay, we're gonna grab the Kimiko stuff. So anything you saw here was that I skipped over was from Shizuka stuff. Kimiko was the captain. It was her job to know what was going on and who was doing what. Maybe she'd know what the watch was and how it was supposed to work. I looked at my tablet to see where Kimiko was. In the rec room. When I entered, she was sitting in the corner knitting. She seemed calm, serene almost. Her hard-edged, stern face looked softer and she seemed peaceful. I was surprised, considering how upset and desolate she'd been yesterday.
Good morning.
Kimiko spoke with a rough, gravelly voice. Then she coughed.
What do you want?
She'd been so calm looking that her sudden stern question threw me off balance. You like, pocket? This is too random, I gotta do it. Kimiko's... Okay, he didn't actually say it. If you were reborn as an animal, what would you be? I bet right now, Yoshiki wishes he was a fish. Eh? Eh? Kimiko stared at me confused by my odd question.
What? You came here to ask me that?
Well, no, but you just sounded so stern and I panicked. Laughing made Kimiko cough again.
Well, let me think about it.
She stopped knitting for a few seconds to think.
What would I be?
Judging by the knitting, a spider.
It's a difficult question because I haven't really been exposed to animals. I only know them from books and documentaries.
Well, we have bees here at the very least.
But I think I'd like to be a fox.
You vixen.
They're smart and cunning, and they often live in small family groups, just like us.
Her warm, genuine smile made me remember that it was hard for her as captain, because the crew were also her friends. The only friends she had.
What animal would you be?
I probably should have expected her to return the question, but it came as a curveball and I wasn't prepared. I'll be a honey badger. I'm a solitary being and I'm hard to kill. Also, I am slightly crazy and aggressive.
That's the opposite of you. You're not remotely threatening.
It's part of my disguise. I frowned. I could be aggressive, if I needed to be. Kimiko coughed again. The laughing seemed to hurt.
I'm sorry, but it's a good thing. You don't need to be aggressive. You should come and sit down.
I don't want to cut into your private time.
If I wanted privacy, I'd stay in my quarters.
I went over to sit beside her. Have you seen any of Team B?
I ran into Beatrix when we were both heading for a shower. We managed to avoid each other.
What do you think about the game?
I wasn't paying that much attention, as I'm sure you've noticed. I think it was a good idea to ask Shizuka for some strategies.
Do you think we can strategize when we don't know what the other team is doing?
I think we can extrapolate from our own points what they might be doing.
I guess that's why there's 3 battles.
Dai wants to entertain herself, so I think there's some degree of strategy to make it interesting for her.
That makes sense. Kimiko's mention of Dai and her motives reminded me that I had been looking into her programming. It was time I checked in with her. I'd like to stay and talk more, but I just remembered something I have to do.
If it's important, you should go and do it. Don't put off doing what can be done today.
Pleh. I prefer the procrastination route, thank you. Thanks, good advice. Kimiko just gave a curt nod and I left her to her knitting. I avoided seeing anyone from either team on the way back to my quarters, where I called I. So we're just gonna skip this because we've heard this 5 times already. So let's look for the captain. The obvious place to look for the captain was her quarters. I pressed the button for her intercom.
Come in.
Her croaky voice didn't manage to call out very loudly, but I managed to hear it, and the fit of coughing that followed it. I let myself in, found her sitting on the edge of her bed. She was half-dressed and looked like she was halfway through the process of putting her hair up. Are you alright?
I'm fine.
She didn't look fine. She was pale and with a sweaty sheen all over. Her eyes weren't focusing on my face. I think we need an exorcist.
Excuse my disheveled look. I'll be ready and back to work very soon.
Let me just get some water and boil the hell out of it. Then we can call it holy water. That's okay, you can take as long as you need to. Still looking like the Walking Dead, the captain stood up, but before she could take a whole step, she collapsed. I tried to catch her before she hit the floor, but I was too slow. I rushed over to her. Captain? Kimiko? She didn't respond to me. I felt her cheek and forehead with the back of my hand. Her skin looked pale, but she was very warm. I checked her pulse, fast, but starting to slow. I?
Yes? How can I assist you?
The captain is sick. I need to get her to the medic bay.
Indeed. Have you checked her vitals?
As much as I can in here. Nicholas and Beatrix aren't allowed to talk to us, so I'll need you to help me treat her.
Of course.
Is the medic bay empty?
Yes. Nicholas and Beatrix are elsewhere.
I picked up the captain, careful not to jolt her too much, in case she'd hit her head when she'd fallen. She had hit the ground very heavily.
Take her to the medic bay. I will notify Team B that the area is out of bounds and that they must not interfere.
Thanks, I grabbed her jacket and carried the captain through empty corridors and into the medic bay. Still being careful with her, I got her lying on a bed and made sure she was comfortable. There were a lot of elements to the monitoring equipment, and I didn't know how to arrange things to check her vitals. Thankfully, I reappeared as I was looking at the dials.
None of Team B will come here.
Thanks. Can you tell me how this works? What do I do?
Many of the vitals will be automatically measured once the diagnostic bed is on. However, that band should be placed around the arm.
I did as I told me, turning the dials and then switching on the machine. Okay, I see a lot of numbers. That's her pulse rate and her temperature, right?
Correct. It appears the captain has a minor chest infection.
So it's not serious?
It is not a dangerous pathogen. I hypothesize that it is weak enough for the average immune system to fight. It's possible that it has been in her system for some time, and her recent stress has reduced her immune responses.
Stress can do that?
It can.
Huh?
Hero? I turned back to look at the captain properly. She'd woken up and was looking around the room trying to get her bearings. She saw her jacket on the bench beside the bed and swiftly put it on.
What happened?
You collapsed. I think you're run down and stressed and it's made you sick, but it isn't serious.
I can't be sick. I need to...
You need to rest.
Okay, I'm sick. But why are you here? You're not a doctor.
But I can play one on the internet. I care about you. I instinctively put my hand over hers. I care about you. A slight blush of color spread over her pale cheeks. I'm really worried you're pushing yourself too hard. I hope you get better quickly. You're making everyone else a priority and not taking care of yourself.
They're my responsibility.
You can't look after other people if you're not well.
I don't have time.
If you're too busy to take care of yourself, then I'll gladly take care of you. The captain was taken aback by how forward I just was. After the initial shock, a soft smile spread across her face.
Thank you.
I'll leave you to get some sleep. If you need anything, summon I and ask her to get me.
Okay.
I let her lie back and close her eyes, and then headed for the door. Hero? Yes?
Thank you. Really. It means a lot to me.
I decided to go back to my quarters to organize my thoughts. There's just too much going on. The watch, the deletion game. With dying with the personal struggles of the crew, I need to think about it all. So right here we can hit the fast forward button where you find out what Vladimir is melting down, he goes and talks to Melody, and then, oh, we have a difference here. On my way to the dining hall, I saw the captain. She was still sick and not moving very fast, but as I came up beside her, I saw she at least looked awake and alert. How are you feeling? And then, game on. So, we'll pick up here next time. Well, we'll do Shizuka first, then this one. We're saving the captain for last, for obvious reasons.